Let's go to, obviously, the big news around the world next week will be the inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. The PM said last week, this is just like, Pinocchio sort of stuff, he's best placed to deal with Donald Trump. He'll have a better relationship with him than Peter Dutton ever could. Donald Trump today has made it very clear he expects all allies to dramatically lift their defence spending, particularly in relation to NATO. He wants that spending to be boosted by at least 5%. Here in Australia, though, we've got a government led by the same bloke who thinks he's going to have a Trump relationship that's better than your boss, who's not strengthened our military, he's weakened it. How do you think he's going to go come the 20th of January with the new boss in charge of the White House?
I don't think the Prime Minister has a leg to stand on. His record itself shows that, well, he said back in 2017 that President Trump scared the proverbial out of him. He's had one of his cabinet ministers, Claire O'Neill, attack Donald Trump Jr. on Twitter, which she had to take down. And Kevin Rudd, the ambassador to the US, has said some really silly things about President Trump over the last few years as well. So I think they're starting well behind just on the politics. I think it's really stupid to attack potential leaders from another country who are close partners. It's been a really poor lack of foresight from the Prime Minister. But also on the record, President Trump is looking for America's allies to do heavy lifting in terms of defence spending and uplift. And under the Albanese government, we've seen defence go backwards. They've not even kept up with the rate of inflation. So what we've seen to defence is cuts to capability, cannibalisation of capability, and morale is at an all-time low. In fact, Labor is presiding over a recruitment and a retention crisis. Young people can't join if they want to join, and many of them are becoming more and more pessimistic about their chances of serving in uniform, which is a real tragedy for our country.
And just a quick one, and this is a bit of a left field one, but you served in Afghanistan. And when the Allies were in Afghanistan, there were huge gains for women. Now it's back to where it was in the Taliban era under Taliban Mark II. But worse than that, news in recent weeks that women's voices will now be barred in public places, not just imagery. Women are taken off billboards, of course, and they're covered in burqas, but their voices will not be audible in a public space. Australia's playing cricket soon with Afghanistan. We're lectured all the time by our sporting bodies. I mean, they had a go at us last year or the year before, remembering, of course, in The Voice. Should Cricket Australia be taking a stand here on the treatment of women, given there is also an Afghan cricket team for women, or do we just say this sort of stuff's got no place in sport?
Yeah, the Taliban is an incredibly repressive regime, Peter, and their treatment of women is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Denying them visibility in public because they force them to wear burqas, but also denying them a voice. And so I would agree with you that it's time that organisations like Cricket Australia think very hard about their commitment to equality. If they're really committed to equality, and I know they are, then they should be consistent and apply that principle not just domestically, but also in international forums as well, like Test cricket matches. And I think if we're going to play a country like Afghanistan, we're really turning a blind eye to the inequality and treatment of women, and I don't think that's a good thing. So my instinct would be to say that we should not play Afghanistan whilst women are treated in such a manner.
Good on you, Andrew Hastie. I tell you what, when the Cricket Australia captain wants to lecture us about climate change, but then wants to dodge an issue like this, I think you ought to call it out. Thank you for your time. Good luck for 2025.
Absolutely.
I know you've got a big year ahead.